clearly states that this electric car, this Volvo, brand new Volvo EX30, is produced in China. Now, I know some of you will be scratching your head and saying, Volvo made in China. Well, Volvo is a Swedish product from day one, but Geely, a huge Chinese car company, you know them. Because why? They also own part of Proton. They also own Polestar. They also own Smart. They also own Lynk & Co. They own Zeekr. So Volvo is a big company, yet Geely, even bigger, has taken over them. Many years ago, it started with the previous XC90, which sold beyond belief. It was the best-selling SUV for many years. Still is a very well-received vehicle. But this Volvo comes from China, and there's nothing wrong with it, because why? Many years ago, people would have frowned and said, hey, China, but now it's not a problem. Designed in Sweden. This is an electric car. Very clean front, no radiator grille. You've got this plastic paneling at the side. Now, some of you might frown on that plastic paneling, but it makes a lot of sense, because when you open your door against a high curb, you don't damage the car or the paintwork. We have experienced this ourselves, and we said, hey, it's a good idea to have that plastic paneling. Very interesting light treatment. I will show you in a bit how it works when we switch on and switch off the car. If you walk on this side of the car, you'll notice that it's got 19-inch wheels, low profile tires, and then you come around the back, you got a decent sized boot. Now, some of you will say not enough space and everything else, but Volvo have put up a little diagram here to show you what you can do with this space. It says there, will it fit? And then it actually gives you some direction. Now, some of the items here you don't have in Malaysia, but it gives you a rough idea of what you can do inside this car. They've designed the interior to accept a lot of features, a lot of furniture, a lot of, whatever. Then you got this, I would say, a hidden compartment. You have your charging cables and all here. You definitely need them because, this is an electric car. You put the seats down and then immediately the space becomes much, much bigger. Beautiful light treatment at the back, as you can see. Now I'm going to show you the front light treatment. First, I got to switch on and switch off the car. We'll be back. As promised, we show you the light treatment. As we walk up to the car, we have the key in our hands. Did you see that? Now, there's two ways to get into the car. You can use a physical key, or you can use this key card. We just locked the car because we opened it if you're walking past. Now, we open the car. Now, not necessary for you to use this combination. I'm putting it together because I don't want to lose it. You can just keep it in your pocket. Close, press and walk away like any normal car. But they've given you that option of having that key card simply because it's damn cool, isn't it? So, you saw the light treatment. I'll show it to you again because I think it's very nice to look at, and it creates a lot of attention when you get into a car park where there are people sitting around and looking at what you're doing. So, design language. If you look at the side view of this vehicle, yes, they might call it a crossover. I call it a hot hatch. Look at that. Sleek, low roofline, small glass area. So even in the rear, you have an interesting light show. I'll show it to you right now as I get closer to the car. Nice, isn't it? So let's take a look. See, even here there's a little word Volvo. You know, small touches that make a difference when you buy a car. Got to pull twice. So clean, straightforward, and there's a little, what they call it, frunk, F-R-U-N-K, which means trunk in electric car, but really small. Now, I don't think this is a big feature to talk about, but let's face it, a lot of people talk about this feature. Now, this is an electric car, so don't expect it to have a lot of space in the front, because why? Yes, they've taken out an engine, but they've got other things in there. They've got motor, electronic components, aircon, handling, steering components. So don't think just because it's an electric car without an engine, it's going to have a lot of space here. The battery is in the bottom center, but there's a lot of other things going on in here. That is why they got it covered. There's a reason for this. Don't be misguided into thinking that electric cars have very few components. Yes, they have less components than an ICE vehicle, but it's still not zero. The rear has got this low sloping black EX30 clearly stated there. Hot hatch rear. So it's a hot hatch, and it's a hot hatch that competes with a lot of rivals in the market right now. Some of them petrol, some of them electric. Getting in is not difficult. I'm the average adult. Decent legroom. It's not huge, let's face it. 2 people in the back, no problem. 3, a little bit of a pinch. If you're my size, 3, a little bit of a pinch. If my videographer, who's very slim, gets in the back, 3 of his size, no problem. Nice, beautiful, large glass moonroof. Fantastic. It's actually UV resistant, so you don't get any hot sunlight, hot vapor, hot, the feeling of heat coming through. Every material in this cabin is recycled material. Now, Volvo has given a commitment of the minimalist interior plus having it all with recycled materials. So when you touch and feel all this, suddenly start thinking, is this real leather? No, it's not. It's recycled material. Is this, what material is this? It's probably some fishing net or some recycled plastic or something. They've taken the trouble to go through a lot of items to do recycling. But the touch and feel points feel nice. A lot of people have taken this car actually like this interior, like this cabin, like the way it's put together. So now we have to take it for a drive to show you what this EX30 can do. Inside this Volvo EX30, you're going to notice a very minimalist cabin. We looked at the outside earlier, and you could see that it's got that whole new design vibe, that is no longer traditionally Volvo. Of course, the logo is there, but the interior is really different. I mean, the XC40 that came out a few years ago already showed a new direction for Volvo interiors, but this one really takes a leap in a different direction. And why? Minimalist. A lot of people are actually liking minimalist interior, but there are some others who like a very busy, a very colorful, a very energetic interior. So you can't please everybody. For me, I look at this interior, initially I was thinking, hey, this in a Volvo? Minimalist? And then I thought about it. I said, well, it makes a lot of sense, because why? You don't need a lot of form and function in some cars, So you just got this nice screen here. I like the screen. I don't like the way it's located, because I think they could have, maybe raised the dashboard a little bit and make it flushed. But it's very clear and it's quite easy to use. We'll show you as we go along. And then you got your aircon vents here with these nice little toggle switches. I like the fact that Volvo has given, little something to hold on to adjust the aircon vents, because a lot of new electric cars coming out of China, you have to go into the software system to adjust this. And this is something you like to adjust when you're on a drive without looking into the screen. Nice steering wheel, a very different shape. It's not flat bottom only, the top also is flat. Another new design feature for Volvo, you've got no adjustments for the side view mirrors, no power window adjustments switches on the door panels. They're here. The power window switches are here, central locking here. So why did they put it here? You can also switch. There's a little button you switch. It's called rear, and then you use it. The same button, the same two buttons for front and back, for the both front windows, for the rear windows. So what they're trying to tell you is we minimize a lot of buttons and functions into this little like a central control. Now why are they doing it? Maybe they're looking into a new direction. The new generation of buyers, the new generation of Volvo buyers are probably asking for this. And it's still designed in Sweden. I want you to understand this. Volvo is owned by Geely in China, but it's designed in Sweden. So that's very important. So Swedish are very, very different from other manufacturers when it comes to, even look at their furniture. Look at how they used to design phones, Nokia, Ericsson, everything a little bit different. Now, you want to know more about ownership value of this car. Because why? This is a car review. I'm not a KOL or influencer. Please understand that. We are not KOLs or influencers. We are here to review a car, to give you a better understanding of what this product is all about. So, if you're thinking of buying an electric car, this is a starter electric car. I would say starter because why? In its segment, you have a lot of rivals coming in from China and of course Europe, but majority from China. And this Volvo is made in China. So until a few years ago, if you say made in China, the eyebrows will go up, the frowning will start, the lower lip will come down. People will say, I think not. But now, made in China is no longer frowned. In fact, they say, oh, made in China. Oh, quality will be good. Software will be good. Speaking of software, all this done by Google. So you can actually use Google to do a lot of work for you. Hi, Google. Hello, Google.
How can I help?
How can you help? Can you direct me to the nearest restaurant?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Okay, she doesn't understand. She'll take some time. But you have the Google function in this car. On top of that, you've got navigation, you've got everything, Spotify, you name it. It's fully loaded. There's nothing lacking in this Volvo EX30. But when you buy an electric car, you want to know a few things. How does it drive? Well, this is the twin motor version, and this is the kind of acceleration you can get, which will basically surprise your passengers and other road users. This car is very quick, very, very quick. Riding on 19-inch wheels, low profile tires, it handles very well, it corners very well, and it feels like a normal car. Actually, when you're driving in the city, like how we've been driving right now, you can't tell whether it's a, petrol-powered vehicle or a diesel-powered vehicle. You'll think, hey, of course, you don't hear the engine sound. But it drives very smoothly, very easy. So, what are the other little things that you need to know? Well, charging infrastructure, battery life, and all that. Now, when we got this car, we had about nearly 400 kilometers, 380 plus kilometers in its charge. Now there's 59% left. We've been driving it for a few days. We've been driving it hard and relaxed. We've got another 231 kilometers. So if you take 231 kilometers and times 2, just to take an average, that's about 460 kilometers. So it depends on your drive cycle, depends how you use it, depends whether you're driving very lethargically, or depends whether you're driving, like a madman just now, what I showed you. That's just to show you the kind of acceleration. 3.6 seconds, 0 to 100 is achievable in this car, which is insane. It's a hot hatch. Volvo marketing may call it a crossover, may call it a compact SUV. We call it a hot hatch because it is a hot hatch. It's not that tall. I can reach across the roof when I'm washing the car, which I did a few days ago. So it means it's a hot hatch. It's about the size of most hot hatches coming out of Europe and Japan. So I just tap the accelerator, boom, it goes. It's very quick, very responsive, and very intoxicating. Now, being a Volvo, you know you've got that backup in terms of after sales, warranty, product updates, software updates, and you got that, legendary Volvo build quality. Yes, it's put together in China, but it's still a Volvo. So this Volvo EX30 lands in Malaysia in 3 variants. Now, for the average person who just wants to commute, you have the base single motor version at 188,000 ringgit. That's the lowest price Volvo right now, 188,000. Imagine taking home a brand new Volvo at 188,000. Then you have the high spec dual motor hot hatch, which we are test driving here. That's just 228,000 ringgit. So 228,000 ringgit, still great value for money, brand new Volvo. Why? Because safety features are top notch. The list is long. It's got everything you need and more. It's got this full sunroof. It's got this great entertainment unit and Harman Kardon sound system. Now I can't display for you the Harman Kardon sound system, but let me tell you, it's a very good system if you're sitting in the car. On the video, you will not really enjoy it. Play some vocals, play some, Whitney Houston, or try some Def Leppard, to get the drum beats, and then you'll understand how beautiful the sound separation is in this Volvo EX30. And it's all coming from the soundbar here, Harman Kardon soundbar here. So I don't know how they've done it. There's no speakers on the doors. It's just front and back. And they've just done it in such a way that it sounds great whether you're sitting in front or in the back. And you can adjust it to your preference. There's an equalizer and you can do a lot of adjustments. You may think that, we are doing a hard sell on this car. We're not doing a hard sell. We just, I would say the word, impressed, impressed with how Volvo has brought together this product at such a very reasonable price. And it could be because it's made in China, cost of production, materials, and then also you got the shared services. Because why? It's shared with the Smart 3 and Zeekr X. Now, both the Smart 3 and Zeekr X are in Malaysia. The Smart 3 slightly larger, the Zeekr X slightly larger also. But they have the same architecture below, the battery system, the software, the power delivery, everything else. But there's just something more special about owning a Volvo, especially in Malaysia. Because why? Malaysians just love Volvos. Now, don't do this unless you're really trained to take on speed, because this acceleration is insane. The way it accelerates is insane. But you can drive it lethargically. It doesn't jump. But it moves without hesitation. So Volvo EX30 in market right now, 188,000 you get the lower spec model. 228 you get this super hot hatch version with all the bells and whistles.